Ready.
All right.
And here we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Lockpicking Patrolman here with a guest today, Mr. Cesar Montalvo. I think that's how I pronounce your last name, isn't it?
That's good enough.
Okay. All right. Cesar. Want to say good morning to everybody in the chat real quick. We've got Brian Field, who was here early. Dana Reed, good morning as always. Ronald, Rune, Dave Addion, G Keyman, Pocket Women, who's she's from down under. So good early Sunday morning to you. Who else do we have here this morning? Cesar, I see you're in the chat. Awesome. Kurt O is here. Securitech, Locksmith, and we've got Logs New York. Jay, good morning. Dark Arts Lockpicking. James, good morning to you down under as well. Newhouse, good morning. Jason, SE Lock and Key. Cesar, that's the other Jason. Not Boss Jason. Boss Jason said he might be here. So we'll have to keep our eyes out for him. Just in case. But anyway, good morning, folks. Today, like I said, we've got Cesar with us in the shop and on live. And Cesar, you are a rep for Anixter, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Good morning, everybody. Great to be here. Great to hang out with y'all today. Appreciate folks from Australia and other parts of the world being here. That's kind of awesome, by the way. And it's great that you guys are on here and made time to be here. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. But yes, I'm with Anixter. We're actually just went through a name change. So we're actually now called Wesco.
Okay.
Which is kind of neat because Wesco stands for Westinghouse Supply Company, not having to do with like the Westinghouse stuff you see today, like blenders and stuff like that, but from like the old school Westinghouse Electric. But still pretty neat to be here. But yeah, that's really the only thing different is just we got a new name last week, but everything else stays the same.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you need to give me some swag. Because like I don't have I never got anything that actually said Anixter on it.
That's all right. I never really got anything that said Anixter on it. So.
Well, they make fun of me because I wear my Schlag t-shirt a lot, and I've got all kinds of other stuff from another distributor whose brand is purple and starts with a B, and I'm equal opportunity, so I like to show off everything.
That's fair.
But anyway, but yeah, so I guess we'll kind of start with you and say, maybe you can tell people kind of how you got into working for a locksmith distributor, kind of what brought you into that, and kind of what your lock related interests are that may have influence that.
Sure. So I actually started as a locksmith back in, I want to say it was about 05. I got out of the military and was going back to my hometown in South Florida, which is Fort Lauderdale, and really didn't know what I was doing next. So I actually went back to work for one of my high school jobs, which was a bicycle shop. That bicycle shop was kind of really unique because they had a locksmith in it. So I was working at the bike shop. I had a kid on the way, and I was actually talking to my boss one day, and I said, "Hey, I got a growing family. I need a raise." And he goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a raise, but you got to learn a trade." So he taught me locksmithing, and I kind of went from there. Got a little better at what I was doing, started off working on a bench, rekeying locks, programming car keys, basic stuff like that, learning what a cylindrical lock was versus what a mortise lock was and what a mortise cylinder was, all the, anything that an apprentice kind of figures out, right?
Right.
Went little by little from there, and then just started learning the trade a lot more, started working for other shops, got more proficient. Ended up actually not owning a shop, but managing a shop for one of my one of the guys in South Florida. And then from there, I was reached out to by what was at the time Anixter, and they said, "Hey, it was a contact I had known through the network down there. I mean, you know how it is in these communities, especially like in North and South Carolina, right? Everybody knows everybody.
Right.
So it's the
Right.
same thing in South Florida, kind of like everybody knew everybody. So one of the local guys called me up and said, "Hey, we got an opening. We'd love to have you come on board." And fast forward to that time, I had actually added two more kids to my family. So I was like, well, I could use a little bit more of a stable 9 to 5 Monday through Friday thing. And that's how I ended up here. So what I really like about it is that with where I am today, I can take whether it was a mistake that I had, that I made in the field or something that I learned while I was along the way and use that when I'm talking to, guys like you, guys like Jason, stuff like that, and everything.
Right. Okay, cool. Cool. So I wasn't sure if you had started out as a locksmith, so that's really, really cool to learn that. And I think that's something that, really you have to have going into your position. I mean, you can't sell or support products if you don't know what they are, what they're for. So I imagine that's really, really useful to you to have that background and that
Yeah,
knowledge.
it certainly makes the job easier, right? Because you can relate to what some of the struggles that guys on the road go through, guys and gals on the road go through, right?
Right.
And when you're when someone's saying, "Hey, what have you heard about this product?" Well, yeah, I can tell you what I've heard about it, but then I can also tell you what I've gone through when I've held it in my hands, installed it, and things like that. So it allows you to bring a totally different perspective to the job, right? Where, hey, I'm not just out here hawking product. Um, I've installed it before. I've held it in my hands and adjusted it and tried to service it before. So it gives you a different way to just have conversations, really.
Right.
So
That's really good. So for the folks that are watching, and are in the chat that may not be familiar, for whatever reason, maybe they're not full-time locksmiths, or maybe they're just getting into the business, which I kind of want to talk about some of that in a little bit. Maybe just kind of tell, you know, exactly what it is you do. I mean, obviously part of your job is selling stuff, but it's a whole lot more than that, right?
sure, everybody has a mindset, and I had the same one when I was, on the other side of the phone. That's what I like to say. Is, oh, these sales reps, they're just out here and they're sitting at their home office. They're not really doing much. They're just there to answer the phone, and all they want to do is sell me, sell me, sell me, sell me. And the ones that are out there that really want to, well, let me take a step back. The right way to do this job is to add value,
Mhm.
right? So it is going on a job site, right, and walking up, with a customer and taking a look at doors and helping them put together a list of materials that they'll need for a job, right? You might be going on site with the mindset of, I got to rekey 85 doors, right?
Right.
If I'm walking alongside you, I might be able to look at the job from another lens. Whereas it's not just rekeys, but hey, man, that there's oil leaking from that closer,
Right.
or hey, there's a request to exit missing from that door that should have one. Maybe it's got a mag lock on it, right? So we're not looking at it. Well, I'm not looking at it from a perspective of what can I sell you more of. It's more from a perspective of what can I do to help you be more proficient and more effective in your job, that you're able to succeed and get more business and build I guess your reputation in your respective community. So the name of the game is not selling you door hardware. It's not, selling you more of it. It's adding value and helping you be successful. That's what's really key, because you don't, anybody can fulfill an order. Anybody. Right. You can order doorknobs on Amazon today.
Right.
You can go to Home Depot and order US lock. Anybody can pick, pack, and ship.
Right.
You differentiate yourself by making yourself a value add, a business partner to the customer. And that's what I try to do. Doesn't always work out as well as I want it to, but that's what I try to do.
Right. You know? So for instance, if I guess this kind of leads into the second part of what I asked you a little bit ago. So if I were, say, me or somebody were just getting into the trade, just getting into the business, like for example, before I started working for the shop that I work for now, I was kind of in limbo for a few months because I got my license in May, and I didn't interview with Jason until the end of June. Sure. And there was a period of time where I didn't know kind of where I would go with it, but I knew I wanted to do something. And one of those possibilities was, me going out just on my own to do stuff. I'm really, really glad I didn't do that now, because in the last 6 months, I've learned what I don't know. And, I don't think I would have been as successful and certainly not as happy as I am now. But let's say you have somebody who does have some experience and they've got the confidence to go out, but they're just starting in the business on their own. How would you be able to help somebody like that? Like,
that's a loaded question.
Okay.
Because I went through that and I learned how to be a locksmith, I think there is tremendous value in going to work for someone as an apprentice and learning.
Right.
Because to your point, you're going to go out in the field and learn things, and the biggest key is you don't know what you don't know, right? And being situationally aware that you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
I've dealt with the both dynamics where there are guys who are just starting out, they're very green and they're out on their own, and that's great, right? Don't get me wrong. However, they require a lot of attention. And I'm trying to be kind of politically correct here, because I don't want to say I don't want to dedicate my time to help somebody, but at the stage that you're at, there's a certain level you need to be when you're going out on your own and starting your own business. You have to have a certain level of knowledge. You have to have a certain level of experience, not just in the trade, but as a business person,
right?
In my opinion, right? And I absolutely agree with the concept of finding good people that you can have in your circle that can help you and help you become a better business person, maybe help you along the way with a trick here and a hint there and so on and so forth. But then you have some folks that are just like, teach me everything. And that is a challenge, because you kind of have to politely say, hey, I'm here to give you some resources. I'm here to help you with some things, but there's kind of a fine line where I stop and really your knowledge is what needs to kind of take over at that point. Does that kind of make sense? Is that?
Yeah, it does, definitely. Because I mean, you're not there to train somebody, like like what I've been getting in the field. But somebody with with a little bit of experience, who's going out there and maybe they've owned businesses before, done something like that, and they're still fairly green in this. Obviously you can really kind of help out with that. Somebody, like for instance, somebody who does mostly residential stuff and then they get a commercial job and they might not know everything that they need. That's something maybe where they can contact you and you can help them come up with some ideas, or help them, like you were saying earlier, think about some other things that they might not have thought about in order to get the job done. And I think that's something, that a lot of people maybe don't realize, with distributor reps is, I've been doing it 6 months now, and I feel like, I know what I don't know. And I know that I could like send you a picture of doors and say, this is what the complaint is. This is what, the customer's wanting me to do. Do you see anything? What do you see as far as this? I mean, is that something that you could do? Like if I sent you pictures of a door saying this is what the customer's wanting to do, you can help me walk through that project, right?
Absolutely. And I tell that to everybody that I work with today. It's just a matter of whether they want to take advantage of that resource or not. And there's a lot of them that do, and there's probably just as many that don't. And that's okay, because, everyone's going to want to gravitate to who they are more comfortable getting that advice from.
Right.
So I always try to make folks aware that, hey, this is available to you. You want to use it, it's up to you. It's one of those, you lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. I'm not the end all be all encyclopedia of knowledge for locksmithing, right? but I like to think that I can help give some insight or look at it a little differently. So it's just one of those things. I'm not really, I'm happy to jump in and help and do things of that nature, but it's okay if they don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I understand there's some locksmiths out there, and all they do want all they do want their distributors to do is pick and fill that order. And I can kind of get that's some people's style, but I think being a newbie, I think it's really cool to have a resource like you, to where I can say, hey, the boss is out of town. I'm the only one on the road. We've got this happened. Can you help me through it? Tell me what do I need to order? So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah. In this job, you run into every dynamic of person. I've walked into a shop before where the main guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, hello, how you doing? By the way, you don't ever have to come back here. When I email you, I want the lowest price possible. I just want price and I don't want service." And I'm like, okay, that's a dangerous thing to ask for, but okay. And over time, you learn how to give service to those types of customers,
right,
in a way that you're still kind of relevant, but at the same time, you're giving them that distance and that boundary that they feel that they need. And then you get customers that are like, I don't care what you charge me, but I need you to be a resource.
right,
And you don't bend those people over backwards. You treat them right, because those are the people that are going to be your long-term customers, that they're going to stick with you and they're going to be loyal. So you obviously want to treat that relationship right. You don't want to, you don't want to make it all about what you can get. That's not the right way to do it.
right.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. I think that people can, see you as a resource and see you as, okay, I might not need to call you, every week about something, but if I do run into something, I can call you and, say, hey, what's going on with this? What, can you help me out with this?
Yeah.
And I see Jason in the chat, just said something about the palette of Schlagen codes. So how many encodes do you have hoarding up right now? Because I actually did, I guess about a month or so ago, I actually did a live video and then 2 separate videos on the encode and the sense, just to kind of break down installation, programming setup, and stuff like that. So I
have 2, one
do.
on my front door and one on my garage door. And I'll be happy to sell them for $499 to whoever wants them. because then I'm going to end up with holes in my door.
Yeah.
It's funny. I never thought the encode would be the most requested lock or the most sought after lock, but it's one of those things, I guess. Now we don't, no one has them. No one has them in stock. So,
Yeah.
now now that it's like, it's like the Beanie Baby of the 90s. Everybody wants one. Everybody needs it suddenly. Now, no, now they can't keep up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, we've got, as of yesterday, I believe we've got 4 on the shelf at the shop.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not counting our demo models, but if it came down to it, I don't know if we would, I don't know if we'd sell the demos or not, but that's, that's 4
Yeah.
brand new ones in the box.
Yep.
And we've got some of the connects. And I'm an Apple person, and I've got the Sense on my house, and I love it. So I've been, when people have been asking, about electronic locks,
Yeah.
I've been asking, are you an Apple person or an Android person? And just to see, because I know with the Sense, I can help somebody set that up for their house.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gotten wild.
Yeah.
We
No, absolutely. It's an interesting thing because I think a lot of people, when this whole thing started with chip shortages and warehouse and manufacturing delays with COVID, I think a lot of folks didn't anticipate it was going to affect the lock industry the way it has.
yeah.
And now just about anything out there that plugs in or takes a battery or whatever has this ridiculous lead time.
Mm.
Yet the consumer demand hasn't changed.
Right.
Because you have companies like ADT and the big residential integration companies out there like ADT, Vivint. Trying to think of the national ones, but you know what I'm saying. They
Right.
want to come in and do your burglary system, but they want to automate the entire house at the same time. Does that make sense? So now
Yeah.
everybody wants everything to be, on everything on this mobile device, which is great. But now that the demand is there, the product is not there. Where it used to be kind of the other way around a few years ago. But I don't know. Did you see that Schlage announced the new Connect Plus coming out, or the Encode Plus?
Jason Meeks, that's here in the chat, he shared that on Twitter. I guess what, a week or 2 ago, where he had seen it.
Yeah.
That looks really, really cool, actually.
Yeah. So we've actually already started. Well, I'm not speaking for like the whole company, but we've started. I spoke to the guy in our locking division who has the relationship with the Legion and ordering stuff and things like that. He's already started to investigate what do we need to bring in the Encode Plus. My hope is that it's not like some way out there price point, that it makes sense to a dealer to buy it. Does that kind of make sense?
Let's see. Hang on. Sorry. My
Did I freeze?
No, I froze.
Okay.
My internet is being really, really awful today for some reason.
It's all good.
Normally it's not bad. But I caught something about like between what you were needing to bring it in, and then hopefully it wasn't something that a dealer would have to do.
Sure. Yeah. So what I was saying is that my hope is that once the product is brought in and it's now available, whatever distributor buy it from, right? That to me is irrelevant. You got people buy from who they want to buy from, but my concern is, and I was actually talking to my Allegiant rep just about it the other day, is that when it comes out, that the price point isn't so much far off from the encode today that it turns itself into a moot point, where it's like,
Right.
okay, cool, I can use Apple Wallet, but that's it. And now you're going to pay $50, $100 more for it than you did the other one. So I hope that they use a different chipset in it that makes it more readily available than the delays are now. Let's hope that happened, and let's hope that they at least, it comes out at a reasonable price so that it's an easy transition for folks to start installing.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, hopefully, like they're saying in the chat, hopefully they won't increase all their electronic prices again. So I think that's what you're saying is hopefully it won't be so far out of reach that we can't practically, sell it. Because I think it would be something really, really cool to be able to sell.
Yeah.
And I know at least with the customer market that we have, there's a lot of people who would buy it just for the fact they can, hold their phone up to the lock to unlock it.
Yeah.
It would have, the way I read it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I read it is it would also still work with HomeKit and other, like, I guess, Alexa or something, which would be really nice to have that encode package, because, the two downsides to like the Connect and the Sense are the inside unit, is like almost a foot tall, it seems like, and is noisy. Whereas the encode, is small, nice little mounted box, and it's quiet.
Sure.
So it would be cool to have the features to where I can tell Siri, unlock my door and have it in that nice little package.
Yeah. I think this stuff's only going to get smaller. My in-laws. So we have I bought a Lennar home when I moved up to the Carolinas. My in-laws also bought one. My house came with an encode. A year later, their house actually, and I should have had it with me. It's actually in the garage. I don't know what the brand is, but the motor is in the deadbolt latch. So on the inside and outside, you got a regular deadbolt and thumb turn, and on the inside, it's just a deadbolt latch. And actually, you know what? You give me a minute. Can I go get it?
Sure.
Okay, I'm totally going to nerd out.
We love show and tell.
All right.
All right, guys. So while he's gone to go get that, just looking over the chat here still. Let's see. Jay, I've never had I don't think I've ever dealt with the Wise lock. Jason, a level, talking about what he's going to get. Let's see. And guys, I'm sorry, my internet keeps crashing today for some reason. I had issues last night too when I got home. Right.
So I overheard you say level, or someone say level lock.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. So,
okay.
But it's really interesting. So this is what you have in the door.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. And it has battery contacts. I don't know how well you can see that.
Yeah.
All right. So, and this is your bolt latch. That just kind of hooks right in. And then to make it even just more interesting, the battery is actually in the bolt, which really surprises me because I'm used to seeing that steel pin in the middle.
Yeah.
And I haven't messed around with this. Maybe I'll actually give it to you, so you can screw around with it and all that good stuff. Because it just, to me, all I see is just, I just see this getting sawed in half. This doesn't feel like, it feels heavy because I think of whatever material they used, but I just don't see this being really secure.
Right.
And I can say that because we don't sell level. I can talk shit about this. Excuse my French. I can talk about this all day.
You're fine.
I can talk about this all day. But I just don't see it. I don't see the security. Like this is plastic, sort of plastic and metal. And this is just, I think this is pot metal. Like there's nothing, there's nothing to it, so, and actually that's what I'll do. I'll take it over to the shop so that way you guys can play around with it. But yeah, all it is out front is just C keyway.
Really?
They have, and I'm not sure what, there's a reader here.
Huh.
So when they got the house, they got keys, but they also got an HID card. And this reads it, and there's contacts.
Oh, that's cool.
On the deadbolt posts. So I thought that was really unique, but I was like, wow, I think you're giving up a lot of security for this convenience. And right. They always have that saying. I'm going to check on that the comment of the 3-volt battery, but
yeah,
I just think you're giving up a lot for not getting very much. It's a CR2. Okay. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's a CR2 battery, lithium. But I just don't see. I just don't see it. I don't see where the security comes in. Yeah, you get like access type security, but you're not getting hardened residential security,
right? Yeah, I mean that looks like. I mean, I'd have to see it in my hands to feel it and whatnot. Yeah. But I mean, it looks like something that could be kicked really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you knew, but before I got into this, the way I got my channel name, I was a cop. I still am a cop, reserve. For almost 14 years now. People around here, when they break into a house, they're going to kick the door in.
Yeah.
And if you have a cheap bolt like that, keeping your door shut, it just, just doesn't seem like there'd be a whole lot there to keep people out.
Yeah. Well, it's the old adage, security isn't, what is it? Real security isn't convenient,
Mm-hmm.
So they try to kind of do the best of both worlds. And again, I just don't see it. I see what they're doing, right? They want to give you a lock that you can use your phone with and all that good stuff. And that's all great and everything. But I don't, my encode lock has the steel hardened pin. I think it does,
the Sense.
I think the Sense does too. Just about any Schlage product. And even Yale, let's not forget that. Kind of got to be Sweden a little bit. Right. That's the other fun part about being in a wholesale distribution rep is you got to be Sweden. You can't. I can talk crap about these guys because we don't sell them today, but I can't talk smack about the people we rep, or I'll get some emails and phone calls. But it's just one of those things. A reputable, let's just say this, a reputable manufacturer is gonna really think about the right security that you need in a home or a business. Whereas when you get a technology company that decides to put together a piece of product, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you have locksmiths or trade professionals making a product. You have a software engineer, a guy with a degree, nothing wrong with that, designing a piece of hardware, but they're looking at it from the lens of security and style, or controlling like access and style and aesthetics and all that. And that's all very noble, but you're missing out on some core things that you really need from, a lock for home security.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it might look pretty, but does it work okay?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, and that's something, I know Lockpicking Warrior does videos on all the time. And he has for a long time, getting the little cheap Amazon fingerprint locks and stuff like
Yep.
that, and just showing how cheap they are, how they
Yeah.
actually don't work to keep people out.
Yeah.
So I mean, something like that lock, maybe if you have like a closet inside of your house that you want to keep the kids out of, maybe.
I think this would be like wicked cool for like a wine room.
Yeah.
If you're bougie enough to have one of those at your house. I don't. But like if I had like one of those, like maybe I don't know, a closet with a sound system in it or something like that I wanted to keep people away from, that I could see because it's inside, right? But I don't
Right.
know if I'd put this on my front door.
Yeah.
No. What honestly, I was okay with the whole concept until like I saw my father-in-law. This is actually came out of their house because we replaced it.
Okay.
What freaked me out was when I saw him unscrew the bolt and put a battery in it. I'm like, nope, that ain't right. Like, I know I've been out of the game for a while, but that ain't right. So yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I mean, well, and that's like we did a job just the other day where we put on the Compex stealth lock.
Yeah.
We put some of those on a desk in an office, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, if I were to grab hold of it and really yank or take a crowbar or something, yeah, it's not going to hold up. I'm going to get past it. But as far as keeping people out of just grabbing stuff from inside there, because like they had some paperwork and some files and other stuff, stuff you don't want everybody in the office to grab hold of. So I mean, it does come down to where it is and what it is on the other side of it. And if me sleeping is on the other side of the lock, then I want something that's going to hold up,
Yeah.
But let's see. Yeah, they're
Send it to Pocket Woman. That send it to a lock sporter will end up being re-engineered, and it helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely will re-engineer it. So that would make sense.
That's it.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Boley lock?
Boley, I've seen them before. I've not handled or messed with them, but I've seen them before, like in pictures and stuff like that. Not out in the wild.
Yeah, I haven't seen one, or like you haven't laid hands on one. Just seen videos of them, but apparently they've got a new disc detainer version out. So I haven't gotten a chance to watch the videos on that, but you look at something like that. Speaking of the engineering and stuff into a lock, and I wonder. I mean, I know it's probably not going to catch on as a mainstream type cylinder, but it's cool to see that out there. And things getting engineered into something that is, quality and secure. Problem is the price point with it. Boley's not a mass manufacturer. So, and if you ask Rune International in the locks in the chat, he comes from the land of Ruco, so everything Schleg is like, if it can be picked, it's not shouldn't be used on the house.
I mean, I could agree with that concept. Just not everyone's picking locks out there.
Right, and they do other a lot of other stuff over there as far as their locks and replacements and stuff. But Rune's always really cool to chip in with with his insights, because being over there in Scandinavia, Denmark, he can kind of share that, and that's really cool about this chat too. He can look at our products here and say, wow, why would you use that?
Yeah, right. And it's interesting because, like, I was teaching a class for the North Carolina locksmith. So actually you sat in it. Like I think it was
Yeah.
last month or the month before when we all got together for dinner the day after.
No, I wasn't in yours.
Oh no, you weren't. You weren't. It was just
No,
Jason.
Jason
But
was.
so we talked about at the end something really I think is really pivotal to the US market is that people are sacrificing a lot of things for convenience, security being one of them.
Yeah.
And you have encodes on doors, you have August locks, you have Yale locks, you have this, that, and the other, you have this hunk of crap. You have all kinds of things that plug in and take batteries all over the place, right? And we're not just talking doors anymore, right?
Mhm.
People's cars are starting to work on their phones. You know, I bought a regular base model Chevy Trailblazer that started with my phone.
Oh, that's
It
cool.
wasn't like a fancy feature, you know, I'm not buying a Tesla, right? It's just,
Right.
but because everything is going to that one platform that everybody has, no matter if you make six figures a year or you make $15,000 a year working at, I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts, you everybody can afford a phone, right? Everybody can
Right.
get their hands on one of these. So everything is being centered around how you can use that device to operate your life. And is it convenient? 100%. Is it dangerous? 1,000,000%. Like we've been talking about encodes and level lock, and folks on the chat are talking about different things and all that. At the end of the day, man, the old school, just a regular Schlage or quick set deadbolt, mechanical without anything in it, in my opinion, is sometimes more secure at this point because
Yeah.
people are now trying to figure out how to hack mobile devices and things like that. They're not, aside from Locksport and some folks on, on your channel and things like that.
Mhm.
Not a lot of people are figuring out lockpicking because everything is now digital and wireless and on a cell phone. So if I
Yeah.
can hack your network and open your door locks,
Yep.
I've gotten in without any fingerprints. But if I just revert back to old school and just put a regular residential key deadbolt,
Yep.
you know, I'm probably more secure than I was before.
Oh yeah. And if you do, like, for instance, what I've got, on my house, I've got the scent, but I have S123 cylinders,
Yeah.
Schlage Everest cylinders. Um, that's not the best key control in the world, but it keeps somebody from taking my key to Lowe's Hardware, making a copy of it.
Yeah.
And so little things like that. And that's what I think of too when, we had a customer come in the other day, wanted us to come out and do a quote for a rekey on a restricted keyway. And, they said, we don't want people going and making 50 copies of the key,
Yep.
or and giving them to all their buddies, to come in the building. And so I think if people knew a little bit more about key control, but yeah, I mean, what you're saying, get a good old Schlage B60 and put it on the door,
Yeah.
whatever
I
cylinder
think
you put in it. Yeah.
I think there's a big, and I'm not saying this applies to everyone, right? But I'm saying there's a big separation in the locksmith community between educating
Mhm.
and the fine line between educating and selling their customers, because it's very easy. Someone can just walk in and say, "Hey, I want this," and you're going to say, "Okay, cool, I'm going to put it on your door."
Right.
Maybe 1% out of the time you say, "Well, why are you looking for that? What's the means to the end, right? What are you trying to achieve?"
Right.
And a lot of times just from listening, you you can learn a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And you're a cop, right? So
Mhm.
the concept is, I'm just going to ask two or three questions and then let all the information flow out, and then you
Right.
can really understand what your customer needs and educate them on what what do they think they need versus what they really need, and then how you can really give them effective security. I think that's a big deal too. Not enough people do that out there.
Right.
Everybody's so quick to just sell the product that someone's asking for. Um, and I think that separates kind of like the great guys, the great technicians, the great locksmiths from guys who still do very well. There's nothing wrong with just giving them what they want, but I think there's value in listening too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Listen, talk to them is like I was saying earlier, when somebody comes in and says, I want one of those keypad deadbolts. Okay. Let's see, what are you after? Is it for your house? Is it for your business? What kind of phone do you use? Stuff like that. Do you have Wi-Fi there? Is it, because if you don't have Wi-Fi, what's the point in selling somebody an encode?
Yep.
Or a sense if they're not going to do a hub, which is so ridiculously easy to set up. I know people are scared of that, but
yeah,
HomeKit hubs are very, very easy.
Yeah.
But Jason just said in the chat, the customer is rarely right in this world.
I would agree with that, because a lot of times customers don't know what they need, and then they call
Yes.
you back after you did it because you did it wrong, but you actually did it right.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody calls and says, I want a Medico deadbolt on my door. And so you go and you put a Medico deadbolt on their door and charge them a Medico price for it. And they call back and say, well, this isn't what I really wanted. And it's because they're used to maybe an old mortise lock instead of, we don't see a lot of residential mortise locks in, condos and houses down this way. Is cylindrical. So, but in New York, then everybody's got a mortise lock just about. So I ran into that. Didn't actually put a Medico on this person's house, but they were confused as to why there were no buttons between the lever and the deadbolt on their door.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah. But yeah, so where do you think, do you think like the future of locksmithing is going more electronic and more access control? Or do you think we're going to stick with the happy medium, kind of like we are now?
I think eventually, I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon, because the mechanical key is still very important in a lot of applications. However, I think locksmiths need to start thinking about how do they future proof themselves, and how they need to diversify intentionally to meet whatever the needs of the market that they're in are, right? So maybe someone's in an area that is just really just all about mechanical hardware, and you don't see any needs for anything new, then maybe it's okay to kind of stay where you're at. But if you're like you guys, you're sitting right outside of Charlotte, and Charlotte is blowing up, and you need to be able to diversify, because not everyone is going to want a mechanical product, right? Not everyone is going to want anything like that. So I think you just have to take a look at what your needs are and what your customers' needs are and what you've been getting requests for, and adjust. I just think that's really crucial. Eventually, maybe one day, I don't know if the mechanical key will ever go away. I don't think it will. I really don't. Someone will always need to be there to service it. Great example is the government. They still, yes, there are areas where you're going to see like CDX10s and stuff installed, and that's a semi-electronic product, but you still see a lot of just mechanical keys being used in restricted key systems. I don't think you're gonna, in highly secure places, you're gonna either see a very, very high encrypted level of access or a very restricted level of mechanical access. I don't think you're gonna get something in the middle that's vulnerable. So it's just something, if you're out there and you got a business, you just need to be paying attention to what's going on around you, and be aware and make adjustments as needed. But there's nothing wrong with learning something new by any means.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing something different in your trade. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I've learned more again in the last 6 months. I've learned so
Yeah.
much. And I've learned more about access control than I ever wanted to. Because I never really had a big interest in that. But we do so much of it, through our shop that I couldn't help but learn it. Fortunately, the one thing that I really don't care to learn anything about is automotive, and they've not made me start learning automotive. So fingers crossed that will stay like that. let somebody else do automotive.
Yeah, I think automotive is great, but you can't do a lot of things well and still do automotive. I think if you're going to do automotive, that's what you got to stick to, because that's a whole nother hour, right, of just conversation. It's just
definitely
how to be an automotive locksmith and all the tools and equipment you need and all the knowledge. And I mean, there's just so much.
I mean, you about have to have a whole separate shop just for automotive.
It's
a shop within a shop for that.
Yeah, it's a totally different business model. Totally different.
Yeah. So let's see. Just looking through some of the questions. Pocket Women made a good point. She said that a lot of places are going more contactless. She just ate at a place that doesn't take cash, just cards or Bitcoin. And I've been in a couple access control classes where, we're talking about automated door openers, door operators and stuff like that. Are you seeing more of a demand for that? Like,
yes, but not at the scale that like your everyday locksmith would see. So like about a year ago, there was a big project that was done with a major hotel chain. And it, unfortunately, really high level stuff like that for auto operators and contactless solutions. When you do a huge deployment and rollout like that, you don't get your neighborhood locksmith that gets involved in that. Unfortunately, you're getting like the huge integrators that are national or global that are getting involved in stuff like that. To answer the question, I think there's demand for it. But like anything else, a lot of people have these ideas and thoughts of grandeur, and they want all of this stuff, and they want everything to be contactless and this and that and the other. And then they see the price tags that come along with that. And then they're like, oh, maybe not, maybe we'll do that next year when we have a budget or whatever. And that's why I said earlier, it really comes down to, you got to educate and have those conversations with customers and see, what do I need, right? What do they need? What do they really want? What are they really trying to achieve?
Right.
And give them a solution that meets them in the middle, that's affordable.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yes, to that point, there are still a lot of places that want to go contactless. Not even because of COVID, just because that's just kind of where the industry is starting to trend to. So I think you'll see a lot of that.
And that's something where if we were, or any locksmith were to get a customer saying, hey, can you give me a solution to this, with what I've got existing, then that locksmith could come to somebody like you and say, here are pictures, here's what they're wanting to accomplish. Do you see this as a possibility? And, if so, is this something that I can do, and just sit down and discuss it. And I think that's something that, I didn't know before I got into the trade. But, maybe hopefully there will be a locksmith watching this, either now or the playbacks in the future, and they can realize that, hey, a distributor rep can help me work through this solution. Maybe I know how to put some of it in, but maybe I don't know what parts I need, and I think that's really cool.
The neat part about having distribution or a good relationship with someone in distribution is that I don't just, like, for example, I don't just sell one access control platform.
Mhm.
We probably have like a dozen, if not more, that we have access to. We can find you something that meets that need. And then we could always call in extra resources and reinforcements to get you training, get you
Right.
whatever else you need to be out there and do the things that you need to do. So, that's why I always say there's value in that. I
Mhm.
totally respect folks that want to take the project from start to end on their own. They're 100%. That's awesome. Like, I try to be self-sufficient. I
Right.
encourage others to be self-sufficient, but there's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, I got this situation. What do I do? How can I give the customer what they want while I still make a profit? They still pay something that they find it to be reasonable or affordable or whatever, and go from there."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that comes to learning what you don't know.
Correct.
Knowing what you don't know. And
Yeah.
I mean, and that's something I think everybody comes to a point, in their career, because I know some folks who watch this are you know kind of kind of on the edge of locksmithing. They're in other states where you don't have to have a license to locksmith, and they kind of do parts of it
Hmm.
as part of their regular jobs and stuff. And other people who are, just getting into it or wanting to get into it. So I think it's been really, really cool hearing from you about that, and kind of do that, and that you guys do training as well. You're not just there selling stuff. You can do training. I went to a training class from one of the other distributors back a few months ago, and it was awesome. I'm
Yeah.
waiting to go to one of your classes
There you go.
next time you have one.
Yeah, I'll be
um,
at the NCLA teaching one, so at the show in
okay.
February.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely be there. Because for me, that's like a 20-minute drive away.
Yeah, right. As long as Hickory's still standing by the time this snowstorm.
They will have gotten the streets cleared out by then.
Let's hope so.
Um, Jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything here shuts down after an inch of snow.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
we got people who have had, a foot of snow on the ground for the last month, and they're like laughing at us. Um, but yeah, so we're almost to 11 o'clock. We've been going about an hour. But I do want to keep the floor open in the chat for another few minutes.
Absolutely.
So if you guys have questions, please start asking them. Tag either Cesar or myself in there so we see it pop up in the chat. But we really want questions because we like interaction. But
I
yeah.
like what Dark Arts posted. The downside is devices are getting smarter, but people are getting dumber.
Yep.
That's absolutely there, there's truth in that. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where, yeah, I mean, you start out with this really sophisticated thing, and then you have
Yeah.
to water it down because people are not gonna, you know, it does, even if they don't have a rocket science degree, they're still not gonna want to figure it out. So unfortunately, it's sad that you have to take things that are really, really technologically advanced and then just really dumb them down for the general public. But
That's why I
the
love
world
my
we live in.
iPhone.
Yeah.
I love my iPhone. If I said for years, if they just quit making iPhones, then I would have to go back to a flip phone. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and you see stuff like that all the time. I saw it yesterday on a job actually. When you have two doors going into a place and somebody's on a ladder working on one of them, which door do you choose? I think the general public thinks that you choose the door that's open being worked on instead of
Yeah.
trying the other one. Yeah. I had to finish up, hurry up and finish on that one and just be done. Otherwise, they would have gotten a call at the office about me.
Yeah. I think back to the days when I was on the road, and I miss it a little bit because you just run into some stuff that, you scratch your head and like, you did that? You, you did that by yourself? That's cool.
Yeah.
You like pat him on the head, like, that's nice. You did a good job. You did a good job, Mr. Maintenance Guy.
Yeah.
Let me unfuck it,
Yep.
So yeah. We when I was working for a shop, we had a double storefront door that a customer wanted to secure, and I actually took this picture and posted it to Reddit a few years back, where the double storefront was on it, and they took the hasp from like what were those, like the E-Series Fords, and they put it on the door and through bolted it to both doors. They put a puck lock on it.
I remember that picture now.
And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, no, you guys took too long to come out, so we secured the door ourselves."
Locked himself out.
The conversation with the guy when I rolled up, and I was like, "How did you through bolt it by yourself?" And he was like, "No. He's like, I had my neighbor from the storefront next door come and hold the doors closed and then hold the carriage bolt." And I was like, "Did you try to open the doors afterwards?" He's like, "Well, we secured it." I'm like, "That's not the point. How are you going to get in and out now?" "Well, I just got to take the puck lock off." And I'm like, "Okay, take off the puck lock and open the door." Yeah. And he did. And then he's like, "I see."
That's awesome.
Because it was the best.
I do remember that picture. That's right around the time I started lurking on the locksmithing Reddit.
Yep.
Now I like Jay Locks NY. I like his comment. Said, "I need to put other door asshole on the back of my shirts." That would be awesome.
I was thinking about, I've seen that before. Actually, I think I saw it on the Locksmith Reddit, where a guy actually on the back of his shirt said, "Please use other door." And that was probably like my biggest pet peeve when I was on the road is, I'm working on a door, you're rekeying it, you're adjusting hinges, whatever you're doing. Yep. And people are just like, I got to walk right by and squeeze by where you are. And you're just like, am I a doormat? Like,
well, the job that I was on was a restaurant, and they weren't even really that busy. And I was there like before noon, and I was doing whatever I was doing to the one door, and after about 3 or 4 people had brushed their ass up against mine, squeezing in beside me or walking around my ladder when I was doing hinges, this one woman comes up and she's like, "Hi, excuse me." And I didn't say anything. I just reached behind me and I swung the other door open and just didn't say a word. And she was like, "Oh, that one works too." No shit, it works. Why didn't you try that?
Yep. That's oh man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Let's see. Let's look through the chat, make sure. Let's see. SecureTech. Just a note, Tim, I think you did a good job with this video. Thank you. I also like to look at Cesar's line of products. Yeah. SecureTech, I don't know if you have Anixter or what is it? West
Anixter's fine for now. Yeah.
Anixter's fine for now.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you have a rep up there, but I'm sure if you wanted, Cesar knows a rep wherever you are, because I can't remember exactly where SecureTech is. But if you want to contact Cesar, you can feel free, instead of having Cesar put his info out there, feel free to contact me and I will forward it to Cesar. Um, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
If some of these locksmiths want to get in touch with you. And because everybody here kind of has my email and my Twitter handle. So they can communicate with me and I can forward it to you. And then also I have one other thing to share with everybody who's watching that they don't know. Cesar, actually, I do have to thank you because of you and Reddit. Going back to when I was in that limbo stage, looking for a job as a locksmith, and that post that I made on Reddit, I had sent out like 5 or 8 emails to different locksmiths. Like basically, I sat down on the internet one day and looked for every locksmith contact there was in the area and sent them all emails saying, "Hey, are you hiring?" That is all except for one shop, and I will not name that shop. But you can probably imagine which one it is.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And I can't even say the colors on their trucks.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Nah.
You'll
I'll
get
tell you when I
canceled.
see you in person.
You'll get canceled.
But yeah, I was looking for a job, as a locksmith, and it's kind of chronicled in my videos here. But I sent out all those emails and I had no clue like what the hiring like was like in that industry in this area. Is that something where locksmiths get emails every day of people looking for work, or is it something where, oh well, it comes off the internet, so we better stay away from it? And I put that post like asking locksmiths, what do you do if you get an email, just a cold email from somebody saying, "Hey, are you hiring?" And because I was kind of getting a little worried there. And anyway, somehow I don't know, Cesar, if you saw the post directly, or if it was somebody who saw the post and sent. I think somebody who saw the post sent my info to you, and then you contacted me directly.
It was one of my customers from back in Florida, I think, saw it. And I'd known them for for forever. And they had messaged me. They said, "Hey, this guy's over in your neck of the woods," and all that. So that's how I got your info. And awesome. I knew Jason was looking for somebody. So I figured, well, let's, might as well get you guys connected. So that worked out.
Awesome. Yeah. And I really appreciate it, because I didn't know he was the one. Like when you and I emailed, I didn't know that it was his company. And then I think like 3 days later, I found his website. Yeah. I'm like, "Hey, could you give me a job, please?"
Nice.
But I'll tell you what, I was telling Kat the other day, I wouldn't love this job like I do if I wasn't working there. And that is honestly true. It's a great bunch of people, and I've learned so much, and I really want to learn more.
You know what? I will tell you without a doubt, and this isn't just me saying it. Jason and Kat, that's one of the coolest groups of people I've gotten a chance to work with so far. Awesome. Probably one of my favorite customers. Again, not just saying that because, for example, as a rep, one of the things you say to your customers is, "Hey, I want to add value, but I know that I'm not always, the cheapest. If there's something you need that I have, don't hesitate to let me know where I need to be to get your business." And out of everybody I tell that to, Jason's one of the few people who will actually say, "Hey, you got these in stock. I want to buy them, but I kind of need you to be here." And okay, cool. If I can make it work, let's make it work. And if we can't, then we can't, and that's okay. But that's one thing I really like is he actually will give feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
When a lot of people will kind of like when I say, hey, let me know, whatchamacallit, when I say, hey, let me know if you have a door you want me to take a look at for you. Some people will take advantage of it, some don't. It's the same thing where I say, hey, if we need to be somewhere on price to win your business, let me know. Jason actually does that. And I think that's really
Right.
cool because the fact of the matter is, I don't have a crystal ball and I can't see what everybody else sells a widget for. So it's hard. I just can't throw a number out there.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I know he sent you an email the other week about what was it? Was it patio door locks? The patio door
Yeah.
cylinders. And he had found them cheaper, like a lot cheaper somewhere else. And he's like, hey guys, this just to let you
Yeah.
know, this is what I'm finding it for, over here, as opposed to what you guys have it listed for. And and I mean, that's really cool, I think, because he's giving you guys feedback to say, hey, somebody over here on this big website is selling them for this amount, just
Yeah.
to give you guys a heads up. It's not something we sell like every single day all day long,
Yeah.
but is something that's useful to have, because I was short by exactly one when we ordered those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate it. Really appreciate you helping hook me up with him. And
Yeah, man. I'm glad it's
everything
worked out.
else. Do what?
I'm glad it's worked out.
Yeah, it really has. So let's see, let's look. I'm just looking at the chat real quick.
Yeah. Locks and Y asked me about a Kava lock, so I gave him my email. So if you're out there, you want to chat a little bit more about it, just take a look in the thread there, and I put my email.
Did your email show up? Because I think sometimes it can't. Locks and Y actually has Jay actually has my cell number.
Okay.
So Jay, if his email address didn't show up in the chat, text me. And Secure Tech, he's saying he doesn't have a wrap up that way. Cesar, maybe somebody that would be in
Yeah.
his area.
We can find him someone. If not, I can always help him out. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the chat. Oh, here it is. I found it.
Okay. So yeah, just you guys know my email, and Jay, you've got my number. So just contact me if you want to get a hold of Cesar. That way we're not blasting Cesar's email out everywhere. And I will forward your email along to him as soon as I get it. So yeah, just yeah, I think the chat restricts people from showing emails in there.
Got it.
But because we've been actually, today is like the first live that I've had in a month that we didn't have Russian spam bots show up in the chat.
Oh,
I know.
they didn't show up to
We scared them
collude.
off. It's my awesome moderators scared them off. They shot them down like whenever they showed up. So, but anyway, but yeah, just reach out to me. Secure Tech, if you don't have my email, it's lockpickingpatrolman@gmail.com. And I think it's on my channel page as well. But
and you know what? Hey, Tim, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you have the ability to pick someone at random out of the chat. I will put together a box of goodies, and
awesome.
If you want to pick someone at random, let me know, and I will send them a few things.
I think that is awesome. So yes, I will do. I will go through. I will do a random drawing. maybe not this video, but I will go through and make a list of everybody who is in the chat and do a random drawing video and post it and send you the results. So that way it doesn't look like I'm completely biased.
Yeah.
But and I will help you out. I think right now, yeah, I'll help you out with it. So
Cool.
yeah, we'll do that. I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Let's see. All righty. Awesome. Okay. All right. So it's about 15 after 11. Jason at SC Lock and Key does his live starting at 12, which is 11 his time in Mississippi. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Everybody in the chat today, I really, really appreciate y'all as always. Cesar, thank you so much for coming and doing this. You know, this has been awesome. One of my goals and wishes since I started doing the Zoom on the YouTube live thing is one day to have like a roundtable discussion. I'm thinking something between Locksporter, Locksmith, and Distributor Rep, something like that. Just to have a roundtable discussion about stuff, you know, lock related stuff.
I think that'd be really cool. I think that would be neat. I think there's got to be. I think there's a lot of preconceptions, right, about everybody in the industry, and the more we break that down, I think the better. And that's what I try to do. But yeah, I look forward to that, and that'd be cool if I was back on. And plus, I'll be happy to come back on and shoot this breeze with you anytime. So just let me know.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, you are certainly welcome back. We're here almost every Saturday morning at 10 a.m.
Nice.
So, and unless if I get sent to one of the conventions or something, you know, we're
or we could do a live from the show.
Ooh, we could.
From the NCLA show.
We really could do that. Yeah.
That would be fun.
That would be. Well, we need to keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll even get you a selfie stick. You can walk around the show.
You know, I might have one actually, but yeah, selfie stick. That's what we need.
Well, my selfie stick is like a baseball bat with some duct tape. So.
I thought it would be like an under the door tool.
That'd be cool if you hung like a phone from an under the door tool.
You know, that would be that's something we need. That is a tool that we need. A under the door tool with a camera, like a little tiny Wi-Fi camera or something where you can see it on your phone and see just exactly why the hell you can't pull that lever down, no matter how hard you try.
Well, they do make that. It's a scope. You just use your scope for a safe and scope it under the door with your under the door tool.
I need a scope because I'm really wanting to learn about drilling safes and doing stuff like that. Yeah. So tell my boss that I need a scope and find him a good deal on one. He'll buy it.
We'll see how well that turns out.
I don't know. He might like the idea. But yeah, I think let's see. Yeah, I think some people like live from the show.
I think that'd be cool. Like set up a telecast. You can use my booth. I don't care.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll do that. That'll be a Saturday that I won't miss.
There you go.
Yeah. Awesome. And yeah. Man, now I'm getting all kinds of cool ideas.
There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. We'll do that. Let's see. So one final check of the chat. Yeah, again, Cesar, thank you. And yes, sometimes I bring one of the cats out here to the shop with me. And they kind of take over the show sometimes.
Nice.
But let's see. Jay's saying I will bring my new bench. That's the new workbench I made.
Nice.
And I made it all on live, which was very, very brave of me. Um,
That sounds like a really long live. That
it
sounds
it
like,
was about 2.5 hours, I think. New Year's Eve. Because we only worked half a day on New Year's Eve, and I went and I bought like all the wood and everything, came back here and put it together.
I
And
mean, Jason must be paying you really well. That back there's about $7,000 worth of wood, right? These days.
yeah, about $6,582 worth of wood. That's a wholesale cost.
Yeah, you're right.
No, this is the budget shop. You can see over there, like on the shelves, all the like the trilogy boxes and everything
Yeah,
stacked up over there. That is all from the Tim recycling bin at the shop.
nice, nice. I still have to bring you some stuff. I got like an old multi-lock cylinder and some old ASA cylinders and stuff like that lurking around in my garage that I got to grab for you and drop off.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'll bring them over for you.
Awesome. Yeah, I will always take other people's refuse.
Nice.
I've in fact I've got like a Schlage keypad lever that I took off of somebody's house the other day. It's actually still at the shop. It's in the back of the truck, and I'll get stuff like that and bring it in here and on live, and we'll just dissect it. You know,
Nice.
just to see what's in there, because there's some people who who are on here that don't get that stuff. People like Rune and Pocket Women and Dark Arts who are out of the country and they don't see these products. So it's really cool just to be able to break it down into every piece. Sometimes I even put it back together, and sometimes it even works after I put it all back together.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, we do a lot of stuff like that. Um, so oh yes, what Litter Picker says, what do you mean the new bench? The new bench does have a name. It is Splinter, which was suggested and voted on by all the folks in the chat.
I like it. That's like retro Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as wood actually giving you splinters. So I like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where it came from. So, all righty. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, folks. Again, everybody, thank you in the chat. Cesar, thank you again. This has been awesome. I think everybody's really, really enjoyed it. And I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up and say, everybody, have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.